It's really a pleasure for me to talk today and to have this opportunity actually to talk not only for myself but also behind Ukrainian beekeepers in this very complicated, maybe the darkest time in my country. First of all, I would like to say some words about myself and about my department, about my university. Here is Ukraine, pretty big country. I calculated, guys, in the territory of Ukraine in its normal days. We are 14 times bigger than Denmark. And it's a beautiful country with various natural conditions, surrounded by Poland, Slovakia, Hungary. Here we have Romania, only 40 kilometers from Romanian border is my city of Chernivtsi, Moldova, Black Sea, and here we have our eastern neighbor who is aggressive to us, and during the last 3 years my country is fighting in the war. I'm professor and head of Department of Ecology and Biomonitoring. That's why this monitoring of honey bee colony losses, it's very interesting, and actually it's really in the focus of my professional activity and activities of our department. And of course, here I would like to say just a word about my university. Here you see the assembly. It's a beautiful, beautiful architectural assembly, which is the residence of bishops of Bukovina. My region is called Bukovina, and this is a former residence of bishops, which was built more than 150 years ago. By the way, this year, Chernivtsi National University will celebrate 150th anniversary, and that's why a few conferences would be organized, international conferences, believe you or not, in Chernivtsi. Again and again, this is the safest region of Ukraine. Sometimes it is called the most peaceful region in Ukraine. And we are really looking forward for colleagues coming abroad to get acquainted with our culture, with my city, with my university. And university is really strong in terms of science, not only in ecology, biology, but also physics, mathematics, and many other fields. So at the beginning of September, I know Apimondia is going to be 23rd to 27th of September, but 3rd and 4th of September, we are planning, it's like preliminary dates, we are planning to organize our conference on pollinators. So you are more than invited. In case you dare to come to visit Ukraine, please let me know. We are going to have nice talks. We are going to visit apiaries, and there are going to be a very nice chance to meet Ukrainian beekeepers and to really learn more about beekeeping in Ukraine. So, how it started in my life and how Ukraine was involved in this world of colors, in monitoring of colony losses. Here you see the print screen of our article published in Bee World. And the title of the article, we called it "Ukraine is Moving Forward from Undiscovered Honeyland to Active Participation in the International Monitoring of Honeybee Colony Losses." So the key word is undiscovered honeyland. And it's really true because there are many questions, there are many legends, there are many maybe even fake news about Ukraine, about Ukrainian beekeeping. And to me, it's really an honor that I had a chance to have I won a scholarship in 2014 in Austrian Graz, where I met Robert Brodschneider. I think maybe some of you know this guy, who is co-chair of Colors monitoring section. And that was he who sort of introduced me to the world of honeybees. He told me that in 2013 there was Apimondia in Ukraine, in Kyiv. I was not at the moment engaged with bees at all, so I didn't attend this Apimondia, and I actually knew very little about the huge universe of beekeeping and bees and socio-economical and socio-ecological aspects of beekeeping. But while I visited Graz, it was academic scholarship, and I visited different colleagues, and I was really fascinated with this laboratory where Robert Bertschneider works, this room where Karl Frisch studied bees and did his famous scientific really huge discoveries, I would say. So there was a time when Robert told me that in Kyiv the idea was to involve Ukraine in colony losses monitoring, and there were many colleagues who sort of wanted to start it, and there were even some negotiation about this. But at the end, there was nobody who really wanted to take this responsibility, to take this protocol, standard protocol of monitoring, the English version, and then to translate it into Ukrainian language, and then to share it among the Ukrainian beekeepers. So having this possibility to be in a heart of University of Graz, this bee research center, I decided that why not? Probably I should at least try. And I did, and it worked. And since that time, there are many years now. It's as Fleming mentioned, it's 11th season when Ukraine is actively participating in monitoring. And here I just want you to see some of colleagues coming from Czech Republic. Here you see Fleming and Ukrainian beekeepers who are extremely enthusiastic, who really likes bees, who are very warm and welcoming. They always happy to share their knowledge, and their practices. They are extremely creative. Also, when it comes to bees in Ukraine, it's something really spiritual, and I must say that both bees and beekeepers are very honored in Ukraine. I also like this expression Fleming mentioned, that beekeeping is visible in Ukraine. When you even simply travel by the country, from the road, you would see houses, and you would see lots of apiaries. The beehives, some of them like in the shape of bear, or here you can see the church, and other beautiful beehives and other installations. For instance, here Jan Brus, our Czech colleague, in my Chernivtsi region, and this is a pavilion where you can see the bee colonies inside of wooden big house, and there is a possibility to get in and to even lay down and to breathe with the air which comes from alive bee colonies, full of harmony of honey, of propolis, of herbs. It's very pleasant and relaxing time spending, sort of popular in Ukraine. So again and again, Ukraine is a honeyland, and we are well known from the medieval times, when Kievan Rus, it has nothing to do with Russia, and it's a long discussion which we would not, of course, start here. But beekeeping and bees and bee products were always very developed in Ukraine. And Ukraine exported such a products like honey and wax to different parts of the world for centuries, right? Also, I would just like to remind that the first dismountable frame beehive was also created in Ukraine by our famous Petro Prokopowicz in 1814. When it comes to Ukrainian honey, it's about good quality, and many prices on different competitions go to Ukrainian honey. But it's not only about honey. I calculated, and it's about 15 different types of bee products or services which Ukrainian beekeepers take from bees. One can see bee bread, bee pollen, royal jelly, bee poison, propolis, all kinds of meats and other alcohol and non-alcohol drinks which Ukrainian people produce from bee products. Again, these wooden houses, here you can see the small house. You can enter and you can sleep there for a couple hours or during the night, and the alive bees are here. So on the side of the house there are entrances, and the bees fly and pollinate, and also provide this so-called and really loved especially in the Carpathians service, which is called apitherapy. Also, there are monuments in Ukraine showing how bee is honored by Ukrainian people. This monument in my native city, just in the middle of the city, there is a monument to the hard-working bee. Nowadays, Ukraine produces great variety of honey, and also it's a big amount. There is also discussions that it's not so easy for Ukrainian beekeepers to sell it in bulk. The prices are very low, and it's complicated to regular beekeepers to sell it abroad. So normally they sell honey in bulk. And then there are a few enterprises who export this honey, and it's about economical and political issues which are sometimes really complicated. But just to draw your attention that when it comes to honey production in Ukraine, the industrial beekeeping is not so developed in Ukraine. But those small private apiaries, which might be 20, 40 hives, they are really common in Ukraine. And in each village, you will find a few beekeepers who are fascinated with the bees. Also, I would like to mention that the service of pollination is not really developed. I visited Germany, I visited Austria, and I know that in many European countries, beekeepers are paid a lot for pollination of orchards, apple orchards, or strawberry greenhouses or other crops, but not in Ukraine. And it's simply because there are lots of beekeepers and lots of bees, and it looks like it's enough. And farmers not really have need to invite and to pay for pollination. Maybe just the big agro holdings, which are emerging now in Ukraine, start to invite beekeepers and to pay them for the service of pollination. This is one of the apiaries which we are visiting with my PhD student, taking samples of bees in the Carpathians. Look how big and beautiful it is in the orchard. In Ukraine, one can find all kinds of honey. My favorite is acacia honey, and I know that many of you guys, of my international colleagues who come, they really prefer this kind of honey, which is liquid, transparent, very soft, and really tasty. But other kinds of honey, mono and polyfloral honey, like buckwheat honey, which is very dark and with I would say special taste. Some people really like it. So all kinds of honey are produced in Ukraine, and it's because we have beautiful nature with meadows, with forests. We have lots of agriculture and entomophilic crops such as sunflower and oilseed rape are very common. Ukraine is also one of the largest exporters of sunflower seeds and oil in Europe. My country has various physiographic zones. Here you see mixed forest zone, light green, deciduous forest zone, mixed forest zone. Here we have forest steppe zone, and to the eastern part there is a steppe zone where still we have steppes with high biodiversity of plants. And the Crimea and the Carpathians, again, my region is located right in the western southern part of Ukraine, in the Carpathian region. And on this map, you see the distribution of beekeepers who took part in the survey of Kolos monitoring. And as you see, of course, our neighbors are more active. But before the war, there are completely the whole territory of Ukraine was covered by our survey. So now I must say that we are really a part of Kolos, and it's nice to see Ukraine on the map of monitoring for many years, to be part of such a big surveys with interesting findings. For instance, now we are working on seasonalities, when activities are happening in beekeeping in different countries. Also, one of my favorite papers, it's about treatment of varroa, and here you can see Ukraine together with Romania and Czech Republic in one big cluster, where mainly we are using amitraz for treating varroa. Finally, about monitoring, I would like to mention that as we started after the winter 2014-2015, and it was only 300 beekeepers for the first year, and then we gradually increased the number of beekeepers participating in the survey. Here is the winter when the war started, and it was really a small gap. But last winters we still managed to, but even despite the fact of the war, we managed to collect about 700 answers from Ukrainian beekeepers, which is from the one hand very low amount, because the number of beekeepers in Ukraine is really huge. Simply to say, it's about a little bit less than 250,000 of beekeepers. One can calculate in Ukraine. So it's 200,000 of beekeepers. Before the war, they were in Ukraine. Here is a very fresh statistics, number of registered apiaries, dated at the end of the last year, 2024, and it's about 60,000 of apiaries, of beekeepers, who are registered in the state registry. So just now getting prepared to our conversation, we check the table, and you can see the different regions, the oblast of Ukraine. And there are these thousands of beekeepers who are registered in a long list with their telephone numbers. And actually, when we organize our survey, we try to contact them and to invite them and to involve them into our survey. So again, of approximately 200,000 of beekeepers who live in Ukraine, approximately 60,000 of beekeepers are registered in the state registry. When it comes to the reasons why it is like this, I must say that the number of beekeepers, you see, it's almost 3 times lower, those who got registered in comparison with the total amount of Ukrainian beekeepers. And I must say that some of Ukrainian beekeepers do not want to register their apiaries officially because they don't trust the state. They are afraid of taxes, or they are afraid of some actions from veterinary services, or some attempts to make them pay for veterinary investigation, stuff like this. And nowadays, of course, the statistics is hard to really update it, especially for the eastern part of the region. But according again to the official statistics of the Ministry of Agriculture, Policy and Food, 60,000 of Ukrainian beekeepers are registered as of end of 2024. Now, a couple of words about the losses, winter losses in Ukraine. Here is the full record about our winter losses during 10 years since Ukraine is participating in COLOS monitoring. As you can see, the highest losses were after the winter of 2016-2017, and it was a little bit over 18%. I must say that in some countries, for instance, in Germany, in Austria, sometimes the losses are about 20 or even about 30%. So on average, our losses are much lower, as you can really see from this graph. I was thinking a lot why it is like this. And it seems to me that, first of all, it's because our beekeepers really treat bees with amitraz and other, sometimes they are called aggressive chemicals. But also, each bee colony is valuable for Ukrainian beekeepers, and they really take care of bees. So they would check the colonies, they would apply different measures against varroa, and one of these measures is drone brood removal. Doesn't matter if there is 10 colonies or if there are 200 or 300 colonies. Ukrainian beekeepers, it's like a rule. They check for this brood, drone brood, and they remove it. And it's one of the effective measures to prevent mass amount of varroa in the hives. And also maybe there is something about this non-pure breeds. It's my feeling that many beekeepers keep their local adapted bees for many generations. And there is not such a tendency to buy famous queens from this high pure quality breeds. And this sort of keeps this gene pool diverse and again locally adapted. So to me, it seems that this is a key points of success of Ukrainian beekeeping, and that is the factors which help to keep winter colony losses lower in comparison with other countries participating in COLOS monitoring. When it comes to treatment of varroa, this is also interesting. In 2020, we wrote a paper. We were really almost shocked when we started to analyze what are the most popular measures against varroa, and it was like snowballing. You can't stop writing down the names of these products against varroa. So at the end, in 2020, we published in Ukrainian scientific journal, we published the paper where we say that for 3 years of collecting information, different ways, including asking beekeepers, including checking veterinary shops and online, and reading and this internet shops and stuff like this. 136 anti-varroa products one can buy, order, one can pick up in Ukraine. It's really amazing. The majority of them, of course, are from other countries, from abroad of Ukraine, including such famous like a Bayer and other producers, and finally with very strange Chinese, maybe fake substances which are very cheap. But at the end, we figured out that about 10 active ingredients are in the composition of all these 136 anti-varroa products. Here one can see the most popular measures against varroa according to our survey after the last winter. And again, please pay attention that drone brood removal is one of the most popular measures, following by amitraz, fumigation and aerosol, and also amitraz in stripes. And then it's oxalic acid, then it's tauchlevelinet, and other substances which are used by Ukrainian beekeepers. Що там по часу, Оксанка? Couple of words about situation in nowadays when we have a war in Ukraine. So the war started 3 years ago. It was 24th of February 2022, and after this winter we managed to organize a survey, and we included the questions just trying to record the influence of the war. So we added to the regular standard protocol, we added the questions concerning can you feel the influence of military actions at your apiary, for instance, noise or smoke or pollution from bombing, something like this. And you can see that this is spread all over the country, including western part of the country. And also we indicated the cases when the apiary was destroyed, or the apiary itself, the hives, or when the premises where they work or where they keep hives for winter, or their tools, honey extractors or others were destroyed, or also when the road was destroyed or other infrastructure which was destroyed by military actions. Next winter, we realized that this is not the only problem with direct influence of military actions, but also there is another big problem that beekeepers are losing their access to apiaries, and it might be because of different reasons. Some left their homes, and now they defend the country. So it's due to mobilization, or many of beekeepers voluntarily joined the army to protect the country. Others were resettled to more safest region of Ukraine, or went abroad. And from the other hand, the big pieces of our territory now are simply occupied, or in such a conditions when there is simply impossible even to think about beekeeping. So this is a photo from internet. We don't know this guy, but I read that his name is Eduard, and he keeps bees in the box of ammunition, and yeah, trying to collect honey at 0 level. But here is another beekeepers whom I know personally for years. Please meet Vasil and Ostap Palomar. Here they are. Vasil Palomar is my colleague, and he is the head of beekeeping society at Chernivtsi region, head of beekeeping society. He's 48 years old guy who has a son Ostap and 2 more kids, so he's a father of 3 kids. And he's an owner of apiary with 200 colonies. So for 3 years now, he's in Donetsk or Sumy region or other regions of Ukraine. And his son, Ostap, he's a student at our university. Now he's finalizing his master level, and it looks like he's going to be a PhD student. I just spoke with him yesterday, and he's sharing his thoughts, whether he needs to take care of 200 colonies and combine this with science, or he should probably think about selling the apiary, or organizing somebody to help him with the bees, or quit science and things like this. So this is a reality of Ukrainian beekeepers, of Ukrainian families. Here is Vasil Palomar, head of Beekeeping Association before the war. Let me mention that for many years I'm involved with charitable activities for kids from families in crisis. Now we have lots of IDPs, internally displaced people from the regions affected by the war. And Vasil Palomar, you can see him here, with a smoker for beehives, with a protective mask, educating kids and telling them how bees are important, how pollination is important, how healthy are bee products, and bringing them frames with the honey, and then we normally we taste the honey, and we sit together and we talk with kids. So that was before the war. Now he is gone for 3 years from normal life. Back to science. Our questionnaire, I believe you are actively participating in callus monitoring as well. So maybe you remember that last year there was a question about well-being of beekeepers. The idea was borrowed from New Zealand colleagues when they discussed well-being of different enterprises or representatives of different professions. And they discovered that beekeepers who have less colonies, they are happier than average citizens, and those who have 50+ colonies, they are less happier than on average. Something to think about, this commercialization and its consequences. So Kolos adopted this question, and we used it for the last winter and got answers for different countries participating in the Kolos monitoring. The blue guy is Ukraine with these blue arrows. Here you can barely see the difference, but when you go to the next slide, so let's say the 0 level is how it is the feeling of happiness now. Right now we see that Ukraine is really, Ukrainian beekeepers, they are all way down. One cannot be happy when there is a war in the country. But to me, it's really inspiring and really again and again shows the strengths of Ukrainian beekeepers and Ukrainian people in general, that in the next few years we consider ourselves to be the most happy beekeepers ever. So let's hope that our dreams will come true. To continue this idea of well-being, there are some factors which make Ukrainian beekeepers, for instance, this is about Ukrainian beekeepers now, feel very positively, and among them health of bees and biosecurity of bees. And also there is this possibility to spend lots of time walking outdoors, enjoying nature, enjoying good weather. So all kinds of bee products which Ukrainian beekeepers produce of high quality, and they are very proud of. And to really summarize the influence of the war, which was my task for today, I sort of picked up, let's say, 5 bullet points of the major impact of the war when it comes to Ukrainian beekeeping. First of all, as I mentioned about the territory available for beekeeping is really shrinking. Many regions, they constantly exposed to shelling, destruction and disaster. And to be more precise, according to different statistics, it's approximately 1/3 of the territory of the country. 1/3 part of Ukraine is hardly available or not available for beekeeping at all. Of course, it influences the industry in general. And I must say that the territory of southern eastern part of Ukraine is a territory of steppe region, where the largest fields of sunflower oilseed trade actually located. They are more developed in southern eastern part of Ukraine in comparison with mixed forest or deciduous forest zones of Ukraine. The second impact is the significant shortage of beekeepers. As I mentioned, many of them defending the country in Ukrainian armed forces, or leaving the country, or change their places of living due to different reasons. The third one, which is of course accompanying the war activities, that there is hard for the state to check and to follow the security of, for instance, usage of pesticides, while farmers are trying to produce their crops. They also use pesticides and other substances to protect the plants. At the same time, it's very hard to organize it properly, and bees are also struggling not only because of pollution from the military activities, but also from use of pesticides, which is poorly regulated nowadays. Another big issue, which is obvious in times of regulated and global economy, is disruption of supply chains. Here I mean that beekeeping now actually this is the time to finalizing their preparedness for the new season. And normally at this time in February there are big professional exhibitions. For instance, in Kharkiv or in Donetsk, in these huge centers where thousands of beekeepers, 4,000 or 5,000 of beekeepers used to come to Donetsk, a big arena, and all kinds of tools of products for beekeeping. They are sold, they are advertised, and it's a huge, beautiful event. Of course, nowadays it stopped. Some activities are, and some enterprises who produce beekeeping equipment and stuff, they are relocated, for instance, from Donetsk to Vinnytsia and other regions, but many of them simply cannot work nowadays, and it's really disruption in supply chains. Which of course is hard for beekeeping to sometimes for beekeepers to buy wax foundation or something timely. It might be really a challenge. And finally, the last but not least danger, which I see as a result of war, which is happening now. Its influence of the war on our bee breeds or subspecies of wars of bees. So again and again, according to various physiographic zones, we also have famous Ukrainian breeds. First of all, in my region, in the Carpathians, we have so-called Carpathian bee, Apis mellifera carnica, var carpathica, which is strong, which is well adapted to mountains climate, can survive long winters with lots of snow and lack of food resources. In Polisia, we have Apis mellifera vars polisica, which was once even hesitated if it's still there, but there are recent studies which show that this is safe in the Chernobyl region, in this zone of Chernobyl. And Ukrainian steppe breed now is in the most dangerous situation. Many apiaries are destroyed, many invaluable genetic pool of this particular breed is lost. There was even a discussion recently at the level of Ministry of Agriculture and Food of Ukraine that beekeepers, when they come back, they find their apiaries destroyed, and the unique Apis mellifera Sosimai, which is Ukrainian steppe breed, is endangered nowadays. So this is really like a bullet points, but probably one can think about more other issues influencing beekeeping in Ukraine at the wartime. Finally, I spoke a lot about Vasyl Palamar, who is the head of beekeeping society of my region. And here is a very recent photo which was sent yesterday by his son. And you can see your colleague, your Ukrainian colleague, Ukrainian beekeeper who is 48 years old, man with a wife and 3 kids in Chernivtsi, and his apiary is still here in my region, and he is lucky that his son was brave enough to keep his job and to take care of 200 hives. But here's a real photo from the last year when Vasyl Palamar is staying in a crater caused by the Russian avia bomb, Cap 500 bomb in the Donetsk region. So this is just for you to keep in mind that this is the reality of your colleagues, of Ukrainian beekeepers in 21st century. To finalize my presentation, this is the final slide. I want to thank again for this possibility to talk to you, to remind you about undiscovered honeyland, also to share this information that recently being in Italy and working in Padova with the Colos workshops, Fleming and I, we met there and we had a chance to produce, maybe Fleming will tell a couple more words about this, a podcast. There is your famous Big Art podcast. I hope you like them. And if you feel like you can find maybe a little bit more information about Ukrainian beekeeping in wartime. And again, here is my contact in case you have further questions or further ideas, or if you would like to visit Ukraine in this September, if you dare to come to Ukraine, to Chernivtsi region, which is only 40 kilometers from European Schengen zone, and it is considered to be safe. To be precise, for 3 years, there were no bombing in Chernivtsi, thanks God, at all. In my city, not at all. When it comes to the region, there was one case, and the Russian army, they were aimed on the infrastructure. There is Dniester River, big river in my region, and there is hydropower electric station on the Dniester River, and that attack was aimed to destroy this hydropower electric station. So that was the case when the territory was affected by bombing. No people were killed. So this is my everyday routine since 3 years now. And before you will ask me something, I must say that the most common question which I hear maybe for last years, why do you live in Ukraine? Mariia, you know English, you have million of contacts, you have plenty of friends. Why do you go back to Ukraine? Why don't you want to? And it's really the fact that I spent weeks or sometimes even months in Sweden, in Austria, in Romania, beautiful countries with many great people whom sometimes really I feel them like almost a family. But yes, I go back to Ukraine to be with my people, to be with my beekeepers who really dedicated to protect their country and also to support beekeeping and their families and to win in this crazy war. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mariia. It's kind of speechless, and therefore there's only very few questions to you in the group. I was actually one of the few, maybe I was one of the ones writing to you. You and your family are welcome to stay in my house in Denmark, and you said exactly what you just said a few seconds ago. And I admire that really a lot, that you stay back in your country and that you work for your country, and that you're also making this charity work. There's one question here is, how is the migration of beekeeping within your country? And also maybe tell a little bit about this, what should we call it? I always get it wrong, internal, what do you call it? Then every time I say internal...
Displaced people.
Displaced people in your country. Please tell us a little bit about that.
Well, there are thousands of people who were forced to leave their territories. And I remember in 2022, there were really like during the Second World War, when there were evacuational trains. Can you imagine this? The trains which were leaving Kharkiv, Zaporizhia and other big cities in the eastern part of Ukraine. And there were thousands of people staying on the platforms like during the Second World War without anything, just with a small bag, often with a dog or cat, and having just some very small luggage and documents and maybe short of money. And then they simply come to other regions of Ukraine. So they are called internally displaced people, not immigrants, because immigrants are those who go to Poland, to other countries. And I really appreciate, and I saw a lot how Romania, how Poland people, how they support Ukrainians. But for instance, in Chernivtsi, it's a comparatively small city. It's only 250 thousands of people here, but let's say almost half of population of the city came during these waves to the city. So it's simply when we see the amount of cars with numbers, car plate numbers of different regions of Ukraine, it's a lot. It's hard to park even in the city. Yeah, so it's people who are coming and relocated enterprisers to different to, let's say, more safe regions of Ukraine. When it comes to apiary, of course, it's not so easy. I would say there are plenty of photos. I didn't really want even to show it to you, and to me it's always painful to see these bees which are left on their own, these destroyed apiaries. Of course, nobody is taking care of bringing hundreds of hives from the east to the west part of Ukraine. It's more important maybe to think about people nowadays.
Okay, Mariia, we're getting slowly to the end. Of course, you get the question, how much does a Ukraine beekeeper get per kilo of honey? Do you have any idea?
Yes. The prices on honey are very low. On average, to sell honey in bulk, it's about $2 per 1 kilo. $2 per 1 kilo.
Mariia, thanks a lot. Yeah, what to say? We send you the warmest thoughts here from Denmark. Denmark are for sure on the side of Ukraine, and we will support you the best we can as a small country. What makes me happy is that when you made this happiness survey, so to say, that the beekeepers are, and I understand that, not so happy at the moment. that your beekeepers actually believe in the future, and this is a very good thing. So Mariia, thanks a lot. You have been sick for the last 3 or 4 days, and you never told us I cannot make this talk. You made the talk, and we are very, very happy for that. So talk to you later, and thanks a lot for this very nice talk.
Thank you. Take care. See you.